Hello beautiful beloveds, this is Stephanie Parashar, Divine Light, coming out to you from Aotearoa, New Zealand, walking beside the sea. I hope the sound of the sea is nice and soothing for you. I've had a bit of a gap from my last recording because I have been going through a very deep and intense time, and it's been super hard, and I've wanted to try and bring myself into a good space so that I can share with you and explain to you what's been going on, because when I transmit information, I'm not coming from a place where I am holier than thou and I've done all this amazing stuff and I'm the know-it-all and of everything. I'm actually really I'm journeying deep in amongst it. And the only way that I believe that we can really truly understand and learn is by experiencing everything that we're meant to experience, and that includes going to the depths of our pain. And again, I don't want to sound like I'm a narcissist who enjoys inflicting pain on people, but this is not what it's about. This is about recognizing what the pain is actually for. And so when we go to those depths, I've explained it in an analogy which I give as the compost. So the compost is that dirty, dark, smelly, yucky place where all the waste matter goes, but it's from where the growth happens, and it's all about recycling and renewal. And so we need that rich, dark compost to enrich the soil, and so that it can grow really strong. We grow our beautiful vegetables from that place, from the beautiful, rich, dark, deep compost. So that is the same for us as humans. And so rather than trying to say, oh no, we don't deal with compost, actually we do. We really do. We deal with it, because that's where the real richness of our human experience comes from, and we grow from. So many of us are still presently, as I mentioned in my last video, that we are really working on, and the twin flames and the divine lovers, light workers, many are doing this very deep transmuting work, because we are breaking traditions, breaking paradigms, releasing and removing old belief systems, and we keep repeating it, but it's still the same, that we are removing these. And how do we remove these? We don't just do it in our minds and think that we've removed something and we think differently now. We actually have to go right deep within every single core layer of our entire being to make sure that we have fully carved out and removed the last remnants of these very destructive and negative things that we've been dealing with for a very long time, that we cannot obviously have with us as we ascend into the higher dimensions and as we evolve, because we are evolving. Even though we recognize the value of the compost and the darkness, it doesn't mean we want to stand there forever. We want to actually grow up from there and continue to evolve and grow into beautiful, strong plants, or whatever you see yourself growing into, a beautiful rose. So we have to allow each part of that process to be valid in its own right. So, like I say, look, don't judge it when you're in the compost, or you just think you've just poked your head up and you're becoming a little bud. We can't rush it, or we can't judge where we are on our journey. And I've seen flowers that start to grow. In fact, I've got one in my house that I grew where it was just about to bud, and then it just didn't quite make it, and it never got beyond that. And I thought, gosh, isn't that an interesting analogy? And I felt as if in some ways it was describing myself, and showing me to myself in this little flower. I thought, okay, that's okay. Look, let that bud fall off, and we'll try again. That little flower can have another chance to come through. And so again, let's not give up the process before it's we've given it a chance. So, and to know that what we are dealing with, just to recognize what we are dealing with, it's huge. We are dealing with huge, very, very, very deep, very, very core issues that go right to our depths and are very much related. A lot come back to essentially if we want to, it comes in many disguises, but essentially when we get to the core of the matter, we are dealing with the pain of separation and loss and grief and abandonment and rejection from source, from our beloveds, from and the love that we so desperately want and need, which we have sought through lifetimes to feel that love again. That's what we're doing. And when we're feeling the pain again and again of that not happening for us and searching for that outside of ourselves, or having experiences in our life that keep showing us that we are either not worthy or alone, or it's always the same and this bad stuff happens all the time, if we keep repeating that over and over again, then we're really not learning the deeper lessons. And so sometimes that is why the lessons get stronger and stronger on each repeat cycle, so that we will learn them, and deeper so that we will learn them. And I have just been through an experience that I will share with you, because I want to share it with you to give you hope, basically, because I know that along this way I have had many times where I felt that I've just fallen down big holes, and I've had so much doubt about what this is all about, and I feel as if many times I've lost my connection to myself, to my higher self, to spirit, to my twin flame, and it can be devastating, and we just can get really, really lost and sad and hopeless. So I just want you I want to share this experience with you to give you hope, because I do feel as if I have been to the pits of despair. I've had another dark night of the soul experience, which I've had a few of, I would say, in the last 5 years, since 2012, as the acceleration has come forward, that I've probably had at least 2 to 3 a year. So, this one's quite early in the year. And this was because last year I set something in motion, and I think I have mentioned this in a previous video, but I will talk about it, that I realized that I was clinging on to my twin flame, and that I had become obsessed with him, and I was very focused on him, and yet nothing obviously was happening in the 3D. And I'm sure many of us understand this feeling and experience, and because nothing's happening in the 3D in the way that we're used to, in terms of the way that 3D relationships operate, for example, he's not responding to my suggestions that we might be something more than just, friends, that there might be something deeper going on, and then not getting a response, and then him journeying with other partners, and then so what I did to resolve that obsession in myself was that I literally detached from him. I detached, and you would say that I cut him. I thought, no, I can no longer really focus on this person. I've got to get on with my life. I've got to start meeting other people, and I've got to just release myself from the obsession of this situation. And that was on advice from some quite spiritual friends of mine. Now, when I did that, it was very hard for me to do that. On one level, I thought, I can't possibly do that. And we know how that feels on a soul level. Just even repeat talking about that feels very emotional for me, to cut my twin. And just saying that, and you can feel that we know that we can't do that. And if you're a twin flame, you'll know that you cannot cut off your twin. So what I did was I tried to do that, and the next day I came out of my house and I saw there was a van that's exactly like his, the same colour as his, parked directly outside my house in the place where he used to park. And I was like, oh my gosh, I cut him off, but he's actually here. And I got such a shock to see the van, but it actually wasn't his van. It was a van that was very similar to his, and looked so much like his that it took me by surprise. And it was early in the morning, and I was kind of like, is this real? Is that him? But it was his van, and the number plate on the van, that was the most significant thing that I noticed, was the number plate was OK 8801. And as we twin flames know, we communicate in numbers and symbols and signs and synchronicities. This is how we operate. And so when I saw that number plate, to me that was a message from him saying, okay, you've cut me off, but basically we're still one. So the 8 and the 8s, that was symbolic of our, eternity together, the 2 8s, us two being one, and 8801. So on a soul level, I received the message from his higher self that, no matter what you think you've done, we're still together. And, it was funny because I still ignored that message, and I went ahead and I decided that I needed to meet other people and continue to try and get on with my life in a way. And then I met another beautiful divine masculine. And so very instantly, actually, very, very quickly after that happened, it was very sudden that I met a new person in my life. And he, that's been for the last 3 months that I've been journeying with this other beautiful divine masculine. And on a soul level, I knew that he represented all of my previous karmic relationships that I've had. And on a soul level, there was a very strong magnetism between us. The magnetism was very chemical and very magnetic, but in a different way that I have with my twin flame. And I still knew that my twin flame was my twin flame the whole time, but I knew that I had to play out this as a last lesson in my karmic land. So basically, I continued to journey with this person, and bless him, he has brought up and triggered me into looking at some of the deep wounds that were buried so deep that I thought, of course, in my mind that I had dealt with, that I thought I'd dealt with in therapy or whatever healings that I've done over the last 20 years of healing work, that this got me so deep because I became actually really very attached to him, funnily enough. And so I learnt 3 really, really big lessons with him that I needed to clear from my core wounding. And of course, this enables me to get closer to my twin, obviously, if I'm clearing. And we are both doing that as well, because my twin flame is also journeying with a divine feminine at present. And I believe she is also teaching him so many lessons that he needs to learn as well. So what I learned was that I had a fear of intimacy, and that was overcome through this journey with this beautiful divine masculine who brought me back to understanding intimacy and what I want and what I need. And then, of course, because of this lovely intimacy, I became very attached. And we know that attachment in twin flame community is a big no-no. But our human tendency to do that is very, very strong. So I became attached, I became quite clingy, I became quite needy of this person and wondering, why aren't they texting me here and there? And then I had to face rejection, the ultimate rejection. And so that was what spun me into the deep, dark night of the soul. It also brought up extreme rage and anger at all of the masculines in my life, the men in my life that have disappointed me or let me down or betrayed me or all of those things. And so it brought up all of that to clean out and to purge. So I have been doing a massive, very, very deep purging. It's been very, very hard to let go and to understand this process on a higher level, because I've been really working in the lower realms and really clearing out those really deep, dark emotions. And loving myself, obviously, through it, and working with the shamanic energies of various spirit animal guides to help me through this process. So I just want you to know that the process is just, it's hard. This is not for the faint-hearted. This takes huge courage, and I know you're all doing it, and I feel like I've had so many of these challenges in my life. I'm like, I couldn't believe there was still more. Like, come on, are you serious? When am I ever going to get this love that's this promised land, this place of love that we're all heading to? And this answer is we cannot reach a place of love while we're still playing out these old karmic patterns, and we've still got the wounding, and we've still got the attachment, and we've still got the fears. With those fears still remaining in our system, it's very, very hard to be in a state of unconditional love with our twin. So I feel as if this is still, preparation, and I just want those of you to know that are still in this stage that please do the work. Don't hide from yourself. Be prepared to be in your pain and to see it as a way of transmutation and clearing in order to reach the next level. Because as we know, when we do the work, we do the inner work, and we meet ourselves and we heal ourselves and we are there for ourselves, and we no longer have that neediness for someone else to fill that gap for us of the pain of separation, that we are totally there for ourselves, then we can become whole. And then we can meet our twin flame equally in a place of wholeness. So what has happened since that experience was that I came back to myself. And again, because, we go away from ourselves, we disconnect from ourselves at different times because we've had much trauma and soul shock and suffering, experiencing life in this third dimension, the human realm, that at times we cannot even hear our inner guidance. We get disconnected from our higher self, and we get confused in our mind, and we've got all this chemical stuff happening in our brain that makes us confused and full of doubt. And so when we get like that, it's just so hard to be on track with what's happening and to get some clarity. So once I have cleared this and come into my clarity again, I had a really amazing twin flame experience that I want to share with you. So it's funny that I have a car that also mirrors my my pain and whatever situation I'm going through. My car seems to have a struggle as well. So my poor old car, the battery died, and the spark plugs and the spark leads and everything were all broken, and the car was chugging along, and I was like, oh, poor car, it totally feels like I do. And so I had to take it to the garage and to get fixed. And so I took it to the garage, and they gave me a courtesy car to take away to use. And I got in that courtesy car, and you wouldn't believe what the speedometer read. It was 22222. And what are the real chances of that? I don't know what the probability of that, if you mathematically calculate, what are the chances of getting actually 4 2s along the speedometer? This is not the reading that just the quick short one that you press the button on. This is the actual car's reading. So of over maybe 500,000 kilometres, or however many kilometres a car can go, that those 222s lined up in that row. To me, I just couldn't believe it. My jaw dropped, and I got a straight in message from my higher self: your twin flame and you are going to come back now. You're going to connect back in again, because we have also had a little bit of a period where we haven't been very connected because we're both journeying into karmic realms. And so I just burst into tears, and I cried because I knew that I had gone through something really big. And sorry, I'm getting quite emotional because it has been really big, and I'm sure you can understand how big some of these soul shocks and the clearing and the healing that has to go on. And then when you get a message like that, it's just like, oh my gosh, really. And so I knew he was coming back in. And then, the following day, I was like, okay, I got a very strong message from my higher self. You're going to hear from him. He's not far away. You're going to connect in with him. And of course, that same day, he sent me a text connecting back in. And then I knew that everything was back on track. So I just want you to know that please, please, please do not hide from these experiences. They are like gold. They really are. They bring us to the depths of what we're needing to work on, to our soul, where they bring us back to ourselves. They make us stronger. They bring us more confidence. They bring us more spiritual understanding from a higher perspective. They help us work on those old fears and things that we've been hiding from for so long, and the things that we've developed around us to prevent us from dealing with the pain, the manipulations and things that we've been doing. We cannot bring those into our twin flame union. We have to clear them. So come on, this is we're really kicking into gear here. We're very, very close, those of us that are in this particular pod, traveling together, doing this work together. We've come, it's very hard to pull ourselves out of 3D, I know, and we're going in between the dimensions, and that can be confusing too. So I just want to send you all huge amounts of hope, and to please just trust yourself and your soul and the universe and your twin flame, that this is wherever you're at is meant to be where you're at, and to please honor yourself and trust yourself. And as I'm saying this, I'm watching two beautiful fantails playing together, and they're showing me that we're going to have time soon where there's two of us and we're going to be playing together. It's going to be great. We've moved through so much, we've cleared so much fear, and it's just amazing work what we're doing, and it's bringing us, so it's going to bring us so much joy. So I love you all, and I hope this message resonates with those that are on this journey, and I'll give you another update soon. Bye for now.